October 2nd, 1872. Phileas Fogg made a daring bet with his friends. He would travel across the entire globe in just 80 days. This is how Jules Verne began his legendary novel, Around the World in 80 Days. But here's the startling part. When Verne wrote those words, the airplane hadn't even been invented. It would be another 30 years before the Wright brothers took to the skies. So, how did Verne imagine such a journey? Did he somehow know that the sky would one day belong to humanity? As George Bernard Shaw once said, "Imagination is the beginning of creation." Was Verne's writing mere fiction, or did he possess a scientific foresight that allowed him to see into the future? Today, let's rediscover the father of science fiction, Jules Verne, and explore why his visions were so hauntingly accurate. History shows us that those who challenge the status quo, scientists, poets, or prophets, often face harsh judgment. They are silenced by poison, the cross, or the fire. Yet, human imagination has never been stopped. What once seemed like impossible dreams often became our reality. Socrates was declared innocent 2,400 years after his death. Was Jules Verne similar? Was he just a writer or a scientist hidden behind the mask of fiction? Initially, famous French publishers rejected Verne's manuscripts, calling them absurd and outlandish. Society simply wasn't ready. Discouraged and angry, Verne almost burned his first manuscript. Fortunately, his wife intervened, saving the work that would eventually become 5 Weeks in a Balloon, the book that launched his career. In 1872, Verne published From the Earth to the Moon. He described members of a gun club building a massive cannon to launch a projectile directly to the moon. Fast forward 104 years to Neil Armstrong's Apollo 11 mission. The similarities are chilling. The crew, both Verne's story and Apollo 11, had exactly 3 astronauts. Verne named his spacecraft Columbiad. Verne described a cylindrical aluminum capsule 4.5 meters high, almost identical to the requirements for 3 astronauts. The location: both the fictional and real missions launched from Florida and splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. Even Neil Armstrong, upon returning from the moon, acknowledged Verne's incredible foresight, noting how closely their journey mirrored a book written a century earlier. Verne didn't just look at the stars, he looked into the abyss. Dr. Robert Ballard, who discovered the wreck of the Titanic, and the legendary explorer Jacques Cousteau, both cited Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea as their primary inspiration. Cousteau even called the book the Bible of Explorers. Captain Nemo's Nautilus was a high-tech submarine envisioned at a time when such technology was in its infancy. Today, the world's most powerful navies rely on the very technology Verne described to rule the oceans. In 1989, a lost manuscript written by Verne in 1863 was discovered in a locked drawer. Published in 1994 as Paris in the 20th century, it depicted a future Paris in 1960. Facsimile machines, fax, elevated skyscrapers, electronic calculators, a global communications network, an early version of the internet. In 1863, these ideas were so unbelievable that his publisher refused to print them, fearing they would ruin Verne's reputation. Despite his global fame, Verne's final years were shadowed by tragedy. After a violent attack by his own nephew, he was left partially paralyzed by a gunshot wound to the leg. In his despair, he turned away from the optimistic tales of discovery that made him famous. We live in a world built on the seeds sown by Jules Verne. Even in the age of the internet and AI, his stories remain timeless. but it leaves us with one haunting question. If a modern-day Verne appeared today with even bolder predictions about our future, would we embrace his vision? Or would we simply laugh and say, "That's impossible"?